Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Cancer May 2022 reading and forecast. It's great to see you. Now, you know I don't normally use oracle cards because I find them on the whole to be childish, but today I am going to pull out one card for you. And it's, a couple came out there. I don't have my suit and tie on as I normally do because I'm going to go out on a date. I'm actually going to have some fun, so I'm going to do a couple of hours of filming and then I will, the readings, and then I'll go. Do you think women like denim? I don't know. We'll soon find out. Anyway, so we shall see what's in store. Now, let's see what's going on here. I like this deck, Aboriginal art, Australian Aboriginal art. That is compassion. That's very suitable for you, but we shall see what it means in total in just a second when it's had a chance to bounce around in my head and start speaking to me. Now, I'm also going to take some cards, 5 of them, 5 associated with the planet of Mars, and also with change. And change is something that we're really all stuck with, aren't we? And this is a medieval deck, and the medieval artwork on it is quite stunning, and I think you are going to enjoy it. Certainly I'm excited to be able to use this art to do your reading for you. So there's the first one, and it is the 7 of Cups. We'll get through them quickly, I think. There is the Page of Wands, and here is the Queen of Wands. The Page and the Queen of Wands together. It's interesting, isn't it? Queen of Wands is a very good card for you. I think it's right in the middle of the deck. There's the Knight of Wands, and it's all in a diagonal down, as you'll see in just a second. Could it be the case that something else comes out here? It looks like it's going to be a very energetic month for you. And finally here, there is the World. Well, that does not surprise me. So why don't you come now, sit down here next to me. We'll have a good close look at the cards together while I share my interpretation of them with you. Oh, I should also mention that if you want to have a personal reading with me, just check out the information that's in the description box below. Now, let's have a look at this thing which is turned up here and which is entitled Compassion, and a key in a heart here. Well, look, do you know, from where I stand, compassion is being able to define the difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is about feeling another person's plight and being caught up in the trauma and emotions of the situation. Sympathy makes it difficult for you to separate yourself from the feelings they are experiencing. Empathy, on the other hand, is about understanding what the person's plight is without taking on the feelings associated with the problem. Now, there is some degree of separation with empathy as you witness the person's feelings and situation rather than being caught up in them. Be clear when you are supporting or judging people as to which is more beneficial to the situation: sympathy, empathy, or compassion. But now let's have a look at the tarot cards, shall we, and see what there is here. This is interesting. I have a very strong Venus card here, and on the opposite diagonal, or diagonally opposite it, is the World card. Excuse me. So when I see the World there, this is saying that this is telling you all the good things are happening, but for you to watch out for something with respect to that Venus card that's there. Let's have a look at the World card. The world in all its splendor. Its inhabitants are in absolute agreement with each other. Adam and Eve are serene. They are not yet departed from heaven. The scene reflects the harmony, beauty, and perfection of the universe itself. And I think this represents the inner peace acquired after long trials, a blissful period when people can enjoy life in their everyday affairs and relationships. Now, in this position, in this bottom corner down here, it's very clear to me that this is speaking to me, for you, of the completion of a project. Your efforts are finally paying off. It's been a long, hard haul, but you're almost there. But it's a reminder for you to finish what you started. And you are learning to take control of your own destiny, and you're using the power of your will to get results. You may also find that you're reaching a new level of spiritual understanding. This has a lot of Saturn associated with it, and the Saturn aspect here is the good aspect of Saturn. I know that in astrology, astrologers speak of Saturn as being the great malefic, but Saturn has a lot of good things. It brings things along in the course that they are supposed to go in. They are meant to be. And this is talking about things coming about in a way with you where things are meant to be. It's got these words coming through. You are the entire universe of love, of delight, of joy. Let me also be thus to you, O coiled light within me, in the light and in the night. Let me be the vehicle of your love. Yes, let me be the vehicle of your love. I think it's also the case that now you are starting to see yourself and the world as it really is. All garments and masks have become superfluous and useless because you are at one with your original nature. You are whirling, caught up in the perpetual dancing motion of the universe. The boundaries of your small I dissolve in orgasmic union with the universe. It is now possible for you to see things as they really are. The stage is set for a new beginning or a favorable completion. The events in your life are in harmony with the universe. From what aspects of your life is it time to free yourself? And I'm going to look at this card straight after, because it has something to do with it. Freeing yourself from things. Is there a journey or an enterprise waiting for you to set in motion? Trust your perceptions. Make a list of all unfinished situations whose resolution would give you a sense of relief. And say this to yourself. I love to travel. I love to explore the unknown. I am excited about bringing ideas and creative projects into form. I deeply value making a contribution that will make the world a better place to live. I am at one with the universe. Well, let's have a look at this Venus card that I'm talking about, and it's this one here, isn't it, from memory? Is that right? Yes. Why am I getting Venus? Well, let's have a look at it. What's the image first? Now, immersed in his popularity, the young person in this Seven of Cups plays around with people's hearts. Yes, you probably know a few people that play around with people's hearts, don't you? Now, the reason why I say it's a Venus and it's important is, first of all, this number 7 here, I have an association with the planet of Venus with the number 7. Now, in the astrology of the card as well, I have Venus ruling the third decan of Scorpio, that 13th to the 22nd of November. Now, Venus is the planet of love, and Scorpio is about intensity, in-depth transformation, and exploration of self and others. Now, the trouble is, though, with this double dose of Venus, both in the number 7 and in the astrology of the card as I see it, Venus doesn't have any handbrake applied here. So she goes unchecked. The problem is, Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, in astrology, and so it can't express its sensitivity and emotions properly. Instead, they can get channeled into negative addictions and intensity, which is the darker side of Scorpio, isn't it? Now, it can imply that you can indulge in excess reactive behavior due to something that has affected you deeply and changed you in a way which throws up its own set of problems. There's a sort of a illusory success here. The card, I think, represents the... Excuse me, I'm bashing that with my head. It represents the workings of Venus in the sphere of the mind, where her influence is by no means clear-sightedness. In this situation, you can sort of believe what you want to believe when you are under the influence of Venus. Now, I think that this suggests that this is a time for you to open your eyes and take a look at perhaps a painful reality, because only by perceiving, by recognizing your own inner reality, will you be freed. Every further attempt to avoid it increases the stagnation of, or possibly the stagnation of your emotional energy. So this is talking about, I think, in particular, the danger. And look, this card coming here is just talking about these wonderful things for you to come. So just be aware of things which could relate to indulging in addictive emotions, which don't represent your highest goal, and which can show themselves in things like overeating, drinking too much, drugs, too much, well, you can fill in the blank. So be careful also of self-medication. And I guess what this is sort of saying by turning up in the way that it has done here, and with such this positive thing opposite it, and speaking to me of Venus, is that is there some negative pattern of behavior that you want to get rid of? And it may be that you might want to consider whether or not you could be in danger of losing control over your circumstances, which could produce damaging lifestyle choices. Is there some disappointment you haven't worked out? Have you been experiencing something that was just a little bit too good? Have you overtaxed yourself or overdone things in any way? I mean, you give so much of yourself away. So I'm not just talking about things that are of a negative nature, but I suppose what can happen is that because you're so giving, you can sometimes end up depleting your energy. And you have to understand also that we all have a shadow side to ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. It goes to make up personality. It goes to make up who we are. It goes to make up how we learn things. So say this to yourself: as I recognize and accept my shadows, they lose their power over me. And then, if my memory serves me correctly, you have a whole diagonal of court cards in wands. So let's start with a page and see what it might say. Let's look at the image first, shall we? Well, here the Page of Wands is the embodiment of attentiveness to unusual or new ideas and things. Now, it's drawn as a he, although I'm getting very much a feeling of a she here, but I'll use the word he in the card here. He has an acute sense of curiosity for anything unique and an active willingness to put himself into it. Now, this may be a new hobby or a trip to another country or learning a foreign language, for example. But this is very much to do with you, I think, at the moment, this card. And I think the other people who could be important to you are Virgo and Leo. This represents really somebody who is omnivorous in passion of whatever kind, entirely reckless in the means of obtaining gratification, and insatiable. Now, it can actually refer to a young woman, I think, who is energetic, individualistic, brilliant and daring, expressive in love or in anger. Now, the characteristics of this person here are extremely individual. She creates her own beauty by her essential vigor and energy. She bedazzles. And in anger or in love, she is sudden, violent, and implacable. She is ambitious and is sometimes irrationally enthusiastic about people or projects. and she never forgives an injury at all, and the only patience to be found in her is the patience with which she lies waiting in ambush, ready to spring her revenge. Now this is saying that your old fears have lost their power over you. Their dead remains cannot frighten you any longer. Now reflect now, at this time, on what your greatest strengths are. Now, people are going to love your energy, I think, very much so. They're going to love your confident energy and your character. But you could be vengeful, temperamental. I dare say, now, maybe not you, but it could be that other person, like a Leo or a Virgo, that could be shallow or cruel. But what is the next step in your life? Find it fearlessly. Learn about ways of transforming fearful feelings. Get involved, for example, in dance or trance work, or maybe in ecstatic forms of meditation. This means you are conquering your old fears and patterns of thought. You have brought them to the surface and conquered them. Although it has to be said, you often learn lessons the hard way, don't you? Well, let's have a look at what may well be the brother of this page and have a look at the knight. Dashing looking fellow. What? Let's have a look here. Now, well, the knight is active, I think, and fully focused, centered on his venerable abilities and his objective. There is a bright, charismatic, albeit somewhat conspicuous character. In fact, much of his impact on people comes from the weight of his overwhelming image. Now, I also see Leo around here. I also see Cancer around here still. So these court cards are very much meant to be provided to you at this time, because this is a dynamic energy here with a strong Leo influence to it as well. This is someone that is swift and strong. Now, can be impulsive, just, noble, generous. There is an intensity here. They can refer to a blossoming love sometimes, but an intuitive creativity out of the darkness and into the light. All the senses are geared towards being used for a creative purpose. Now, he trusts his intuition and surprises others with his original ideas and solutions, just as you shall do. Nothing can hinder or limit this creative flow. The blazing fire keeps him in motion. Now, this Knight of Wands is a fascinating expression of, irrespective of your age, of youthful, bubbling over energy and joy of life. His thoughts are daring and filled with creative power. His trust in his perception frees him, allowing him to move beyond former limitations in thought and action. And he is perfectly ready to engage himself fully in facing life's tests and challenges. His greatest lesson is that his strong will can only help him towards his goal when it is in harmony with the will of the whole. So you have all that you need now. Don't let yourself be contained. Don't let yourself be slowed down. Life is prepared to receive you. Trust your boundless creative potentials. What challenges are present now in your life? Spread your arms wide and breathe deeply into your heart and say, I love life and life loves me. And that takes us finally, I think, doesn't it, to the Queen of the Wands. Fantastic court cards here, all in wands, great energy, persistence, fire for you. Well, the Queen of Wands here, it presents as a card that depicts a bright, charismatic, passionate, and inspiring woman who is able to exert a strong influence on others. It, in my opinion, heralds career growth, success in any entrepreneurial endeavors, popularity and fame even. Now also I see here ambition and the desire for independence, success in social life, self-realization and personal growth. Now, I also think that around you at this time and of importance to you in connection with some of the things I'm going to speak about here are an Aries or a Pisces. Now, the reason why I'm getting that is that because Pisces gives her sensitivity and inspiration, and Aries gives her leadership and self-confidence. Now, the court cards are gender neutral, really, but I'll refer to it as a woman for the obvious reason. Now, this is a woman of adaptability, persistent energy, calm authority, powers of attraction. I've got to tell you, people are going to find you very attractive during this period. And I think you can be generous during the period, but you might find that you're also quite intolerant and impatient with people who are opposing you. You will have a great capacity for friendship and love, but it's going to be at your initiative. In some respects, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, but some people might see this as being vanity or even snobbery. But there's self-knowledge here, change and compassion. This is speaking to me very much of you as being someone who has gone through the process of self-discovery and remembering your power. Now, you have got here by resolving difficulties in the past, and you are now a stronger character. It's time to express your natural power and beauty and move on from the past. Now, this woman here, she knows what she wants. And she says that you are going to be having quite an active life and you're going to be creating a very powerful first impression. As I say, people are going to find you very attractive. I think you've worked on yourself and made progress. It's time to learn how to share this with others. Let your self-realization be expressed in your daily life. How can you share what you have found for yourself with other people? And say this to yourself. I am a radiant light being filled with light and love. Well, that's the way it is for you this month. Well, I think that was fantastic, that energy for you. Looks like it's going to be a really good month for you, and what a lot of interesting things going on, and what an interesting set of cards, don't you think? Tell me what you think of these medieval cards as to whether I don't really use them very often, but I must say they do speak to me, and you might also let me know whether you enjoy the this sort of Aboriginal artwork stuff that's in here. There's all sorts of different things. Very, very interesting. Great to see you. Great to see you. Thank you for sticking by for the reading. If you do happen to like it, can you please help me by smashing the like button on the way out? That will enable more people to see the video according to the YouTube gods. But in the meantime, remember this and remember it always, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.